Hello and welcome. I am Stacey Thomas, author, ALS advocate, film producer, and talk show host. I'm here to motivate, educate, and entertain. Join me on YouTube every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Stacey Thomas Talk Show, where we have powerful discussions centered around health, relationship, careers, and everyday conversation. Follow me on Facebook, I am Stacey Thomas. On Instagram, Stacey Thomas Talk Show. And don't forget, I can promote you too. Email me at iamstaceythomas@gmail.com. Now, it's time for the show. Hello. This is I am Stacey Thomas. Thank you for joining this evening. I really appreciate you. Once again, I am being blessed by awesome guests, right? And I am bringing you the story and not a summary. And I'd like to introduce you to who I refer to in my mind. I'll say it out loud, Superwoman, Dr. Teresa A. Smith, also known as Dr. TAS. Hello.
Hi, Stacey. How are you doing?
Fine, beautiful. How are you?
I'm blessed to be here with you today.
Well, let me say this, Dr. TAS. You are indeed an awesome individual, not just because I follow you, but I've had the chance to talk to you. And as I follow you, I'm like Superwoman. She's like doing so many things. And I'm not one that will try to sell Dr. TAS. I believe Dr. TAS needs to sell herself. You have quite a few titles. Can you tell us what they are?
Well, I am a life coach and strategist. As I've said to folks all the time, that's something I've been doing since middle school. I did it with my peers. I've been doing it with adults. I think it's a real gift from God. I'm able to listen to what people are saying and see their strengths and then help them to see their strengths. And that's the thing that I would do if nobody paid me. So I'm a life coach and strategist. I do consulting. I have been in business with my consulting business probably since mid 2000s. And believe it or not, it's event planning, but event planning is more than just an event. It's about organizing and having a concept about what you're trying to do. And it's about, and the business is DQ Consulting, and it's also that career component. So even back then, it was in my DNA that that's what I wanted to do. So when I formed my LLC, that was it, and I haven't really strayed from it. I am a award-winning. My book, Stronger, How Overcoming Life's Adversity Can Push You Into Your Purpose, was recognized by Chosen Pen as best in nonfiction. It is my life. It is my story about overcoming sexual abuse, witnessing police violence, losing my sight, being bullied. It's my story, and I use that story to help other individuals to see possibilities. So I am an author, award-winning, best-selling author. I'm a home cook. And I've been a home cook. I cook live on IG, guys. TAS in the kitchen. I love cooking. That's all I can say. And I am a media personality myself. I do have my Talk with TAS show, which is live on IG. And I have a show with my sister, Real Talk with TAS and Angelia. So it sounds like I'm Superwoman, but I do a lot of different things. But it all falls up under the same umbrella, Stacey, that I knew I was going to have years ago. I just didn't know how it was going to unfold. And I can't leave this out because, I have to pay bills, guys. I am an assistant professor. I'm a professor. I always get the assistant and associate mixed up. But I'm a professor, a full-time professor at Capella University also.
Wow. Just amazing. And I want to start this. I want to start this by playing a commercial that you've been playing on Facebook, because I'm curious to know exactly the purpose behind this book. And I'm thinking, and I could be wrong, but I'm thinking it's something about that book that's going to tell us how you started.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let's take a look at that.
Baptized by the trials and tribulations of life, Dr. Teresa A. Smith, Dr. TAS, is a crusader for messy people. That is people who recognize their mess and are working diligently to not be stifled by their circumstances. Despite being sexually abused and bullied by both adults and peers, Dr. TAS did not adopt a victim mentality. Get the book, Stronger: How Overcoming Life's Adversities Can Push You Into Your Purpose by Dr. Teresa A. Smith. Available on Amazon in paperback and Kindle.
Wow. That is that was a well thought out commercial. That advertisement is really captivating. It makes someone want to know more. Baptized by trials and tribulations caught my attention. A crusader for the messy people. What inspired it? I know it gave us a little bit, but what inspired you to come out and to write this?
Stacey, I had no choice. I had no choice. I am from North Carolina. I grew up in the church, General Baptist State Convention. We're North Carolina General Baptist. And so I grew up in the church. So when you talk about baptized by trials and tribulations, that's the language that I grew up with, because I grew up seeing people baptized. Understanding there were trials, not necessarily understanding the word tribulations as a little girl, but, understanding that. So there was never a doubt in my mind that I would write this book. I used to tell my mother, I'm going to write this. I'm writing this book. And I thought I was writing a book about motivation. But I did write a book about motivation, but not in the way that I thought, because I always observed people and I was always trying to figure out, in my trauma brain, why people behaved the way they did. Because it was a lifeline for me, because I had built up my wall to protect me. So I was trying to understand why people appeared to be whole. And so my mother and I, we would have these hours-long conversations talking about people from the perspective of life and how things happen to people and just how things impact folks. So I learned early that, people are messy.
Yes.
They're messy.
Yes.
I'm writing another book right now and I'm talking about messy. They're messy. But they've always been messy. If you go back and look at the Bible, they were messy then.
Mm-hmm.
We just don't think about using that language, but they were messy. So, being a crusader for messy people, I think I wanted to come across as authentic, because a pig is still a pig, even if you put lipstick on it. It is what it is. And for me, when I wrote the book, the purpose behind it was to help people to understand. You look at me, you see the degrees behind me. I've got 4 degrees. And I don't say that to be braggadocious. I say it because it's the reality, and I work for them all. Nobody gave me anything. Everything that I have in life, I work for.
Yes, ma'am.
Nobody gave it to me. There are no honorary degrees here. I worked for them. And that was blood, that was sweat, that was crying, sleepless nights. I did that. I did it. So when you look at me, when you see TAS, you see a person who overcame a whole lot of crap and who is still overcoming a whole lot of crap. But even as I overcome stuff, and I said I'm not gonna cry, but I think I've been crying for the next 10 years, but that's okay.
I'm sorry.
Because no. Because I think it helps to keep me human. And maybe that's the reason I cried every day. I tell everybody I'm just crying. Even I just be talking to people, I still want to cry. Because I'm not depressed, because I know when I'm depressed, everything is good. But I think what he's doing is helping me maintain my humanity and helping me to show it to other people. Because people, like I said, you think that you see the degrees, you see the shows, you see this, you see that. She's interviewing celebrities, she's interviewing other influencers. Oh, everything is just great in her life. Well, for the most part, it is. But life is still life. I'm up and I'm down. Sometimes I'm sideways. It's still life. And for me, my hope is that individuals understand that that's normal. Now, the trauma that we went through That's not normal. We shouldn't have to experience trauma, but understand most people experience trauma. It may not be to the extent that I had trauma. I'm dealing with incest. I'm dealing with seeing my uncle shot and killed on Sunday, January 1st, 1978. The sheriff's deputy killing my uncle was a Vietnam veteran who suffered from PTSD. I dealt with losing my sight. Well, those are major things. And then some health issues. Those are major things. But we all deal with trauma. We deal with it every day. And one person's trauma is not more than your trauma, or they all impact us the same. So whether you're dealing with incest, whether you're dealing with police violence, whether you're dealing with your daddy left, your mama wasn't there, whatever it is, it's still trauma. You can still overcome that. And so my life, I hope, and my book Stronger helps people to understand that, because it's not just about my life. I share strategies, I put declarations in there, with your affirmations to help people to improve. I can't write anything, it appears, without it being like a little textbook. You guys don't be upset about that, because that's my way of helping you to help yourself. Because Stacey, I'll tell you, I've always been a thinker. And so when I write, I automatically put a place in there for people to think about it. Because you can't become stronger if you don't examine where you are. And I think that's the problem that people have. They want what other people have, they don't want to go through to get it, because they don't understand it don't just happen. You
Wow.
get something to get this stuff, you know?
Wow. I'm thankful that you're on this platform, and I'm thankful that you're sharing these words to us with us. And one thing I like about when you speak is that you don't come across as someone that, oh, I've got these degrees and I know. People will listen to you, people will follow you because not only have you written the book, but you've had your own mess.
Yes.
And it's easier for me to listen to someone who admits that they've had a mess
Yes.
than to someone that just thinks, oh, because they've gone to school, and there's nothing wrong with going to school.
No.
But people have a tendency to relate better with people who have walked in shoes similar to theirs.
Mhm.
When you talk about, well, that brings me to the next book, your Empower Your Journey,
Mhm.
31 Days of Meditation.
Mhm.
You spoke about, look, Stacey has to put the glasses on.
Hold it up
you
there.
you spoke about navigating and living up to one's potential,
Mhm.
and how we never get to 100%. And one of the things that I really want to ask you, because when you're talking about empowering people and you acknowledge that you've been through a mess yourself with abuse and bullying, does forgiveness play a part in any of this?
Oh, Stacey, absolutely. But the first thing is you got to forgive yourself. And that's the hardest thing, because I can't forgive you if I can't forgive me. Because we all play a role in everything that happens to us. But now put a semicolon now. Now, when I was a 4-year old being sexually molested, I didn't play a role in that. I didn't play a role in that. But I'm going to do another semicolon with that. My perpetrator said to me that they would do the same thing to my mother. So they instilled a fear in me that did not let me talk about it until it was well, years had passed. You know what I'm saying? So, but I don't beat myself up about that because I was a child. I didn't understand that person did that to control me, to prevent me from telling anybody. You understand what I'm saying? So I have
Yes.
to put a semicolon, because I don't want people to say, oh, well, so, I had a role in everything. Well, some things we do have a role in, particularly when we know better. I had no role in my uncle being shot and killed. I had no role in me losing my sight. I had no role in, my thyroid illness. Now, I might have had a role I did have a role in my bowel issues, which is what I write about in the bounce back. I had a role in that. I've been thinking about it because, like I said, I'm always thinking.
Hold that up a little longer.
I had
That's
a
your
role
book.
in this, the bounce back. I had a role in this book
Okay.
because of the simple fact I I didn't recognize the signs. The signs that said you're not superwoman, you're doing too much, you're stressed out, there are things that are bothering you. You know they're bothering you, but you have forgot, because I know this, because I just know this, and I read it. You know that external stress is going to manifest, or internal stress is going to manifest itself some way. And I know me, it typically manifests itself with me getting sick. So I ignored the fact that I had stressors that I should have taken care of. So as a result, it manifests itself physically. And so then I'm in the ER on a morphine drip. And then we go 6 months still trying to figure out why I can't have bowel movement. But now I'm almost 2 years out from when I was hospital. I'm 2 years out from when I was hospitalized this month. And I realized you played a role in that because you did not address what was bothering you. And because you didn't address it, it got addressed because you laying flat on your back and you out of work for 3, 4 months. So again, you know, to go back to your question, Stacey, I'm paraphrasing now. We play a role, but we have to look at what our role is as it relates to being able to empower ourselves and what that looks like. And when you talk about forgiveness, I gotta forgive me. But you see, most of the time, I don't even think about I gotta be forgiven because I don't want to. If we were being real talk, now, I don't
Yep.
even want to take. I don't even want to look at the fact that I played a role. Well, baby, you played a role. And you talk about the stuff that happened to you as a child and the bad. I'm not talking about that type of stuff. You played a role. So therefore, before you can forgive the other person, you got to understand what your role is. Then you got to forgive yourself. Then you can forgive the other person because people can't do nothing that you don't allow them to do.
I know that's right.
You allow them to do it. So you got to blame yourself. You can't blame them for everything. You allowed it to happen. Now, that doesn't mean you have to continue to allow it to happen. And it doesn't mean that they're bad people. They're just not the right person for you. You know, these could be friends, they could be family members. You have to adjust how you interact with people who have to still be in your life. But they're not bad people. They're just not a good person for you.
Right. I like how you said that because I've like someone has said to me about someone I've worked with, for example. And Stacey, how was it? Well, since you're asking, I'm going to tell you I won't work with them again. We didn't work well together. But that's not to say that you won't work well with that person. Just didn't vibe with me. That's
That's it.
all.
That's it. They're good people. Good people.
Yes, ma'am.
Mhm.
Yes, ma'am. You said that you lost your eyesight, Dr. Taz. How do I say when you go through so much,
Mm.
when you go through so much, you said 4 years old, then seeing your uncle killed, and just these things that we have going on in life, and then you use your eyesight. Ever felt like giving up? Or did you think it was time to give up?
No. Um, no, I never felt like I should give up, Stacey. Times get hard. And there's some little adage about that, but I can't figure out what it is right now because I'll mess up an adage anyway. Times get hard. Do I get down? Yes. But as a little girl, I used to pray and talk to God just like I'm talking to you. And I'd say whatever, just the regular vernacular. And I look at my life and I look at that book behind me. And even when it gets hard, because I've had some hard days, um, I can't because I know where he brought me from. If you'd have told that little girl that would cry at night, talking to God, that would ostracize herself from her family, who is academically gifted, and I don't say that to be braggadocious because on the outside, everything looked great. And I remember saying and thinking I was good until I stepped off the bus and stepped on our property. Because you see, when I was away, I didn't have all that with me. But once I stepped off the school bus, I was back at home. So I had ways that I took care of myself. So when things get really tough for me, I revert back to who I am, who I really am at my core, and what I know. And there's one thing that I know for sure. Yes, Jesus loves me, for the Bible tells me so.
I knew
So
it.
that's one of the songs we used to sing when I was a little girl in the choir. Jesus loves me. Yes, I know, for the
Mm.
Bible tells me so. You know, I found Matthew's fourth chapter, and I used to read that over and over and over again when I was a little girl because it gave me hope. And this chapter, guys, where Jesus is being tempted by Satan. If you do this, I'll give you that. You want me to denounce God. You do all this different stuff for you. Then, fast forward, I've graduated with my first degree and I'm living alone, my first apartment by myself. And I learned knock, seek, and you shall find. Knock, and the door will be open. So then, of course, I'm learning Jeremiah, well, I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to give you hope and a future. So when you ask me that, does it get low sometimes? Yes, ma'am. Am I going to give up? No, because he loves me and he doesn't leave me. And like I said, I had this discovery just with you here. I'm supposed to be crying now because there are people who are crying and they have to hide it. And I have a platform that if I'm tearful, I can cry. And maybe that will give somebody else the permission, because sometimes we do look for external permission, that it's okay to cry. And you don't have to justify your feelings to nobody. If you feel like crying, cry. You on your job and you want to drop a tear or two, do it. Because, as my mother used to say, it relieves some of that stress on you, to be able to cry if you want to cry. So the answer is no. It gets rough sometimes. It's
Wow.
tough, but no.
Wow. And for those of you who may happen to be late joining us on this show, I'm speaking with Dr. Teresa A. Smith, aka Dr. TAS. I'm gonna throw a superwoman in there. How about that? Um, and I really want to play the commercial again for those that may have been late coming in.
Baptized by the trials and tribulations of life, Dr. Teresa A. Smith, Dr. Taz, is a crusader for messy people. That is, people who recognize their mess and are working diligently to not be stifled by their circumstances. Despite being sexually abused and bullied by both adults and peers, Dr. Taz did not adopt a victim mentality. Get the book, Stronger: How Overcoming Life's Adversities Can Push You Into Your Purpose, by Dr. Teresa A. Smith. Available on Amazon in paperback and Kindle.
I just love that commercial. So I know you're a busy woman, so I won't hold you much longer. But the podcast and the talk show, tell us about those two.
Well, my talk show is Talk with Todd, and my platform is really about being the strongest person you can be, transformation, being secure in your skin, regardless of what your size is, because I've been bigger. I've had gastric sleeve surgery due to my thyroid issue. But I was taught to always have self-confidence, regardless of all this other stuff. I was taught that. And so my platform is about empowering individuals to be secure in themselves, regardless of where they are, but also understand that transformation is a part of life and we can't just be stuck in one place. So my Talk with Taz, I do live shows on IG, and then they're on my YouTube channel, Dr. Taz. Also, I have podcasts, and my podcast is Talk with Taz also. And so you're going to find noteworthy individuals, meaning for me, what that means, individuals who don't mind sharing their journey. Because my goal is always, I want people to continue to learn, because I'm continuing to learn. It doesn't matter how many degrees I have. I'm always learning. And so I believe we shouldn't have to experience everything in life in order to have knowledge. And so I like interviewing people who are on this journey and who are willing to share nuggets that they have amassed with other people so that people can continue to learn. And so, my podcast is, you can find it anywhere where you have you listen to your podcast, iHeartRadio, Amazon, Apple, wherever you listen to podcasts, you can find that. And that's Talk with Taz. And then my IG show is Talk with Taz. And they're all on my YouTube channel, and you'll also find them on my wall on Instagram.
Great. And I have to end this with, you're a cooking star. Look at you all over social media in your kitchen.
Yes, 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 yes.
Is that for, things go through my mind. Why are they doing this? Why are they doing that? And then when I get bits and pieces of your story, is this cooking show therapy? Is it for entertainment? What is it, and why are you doing this so boldly in your kitchen?
Now, Stacey, you're interesting. Now, the first person that said, "Is it therapy?" Now, if now, guys, I got a wacky sense of humor. Flesh and blood didn't reveal that to you. Now, some people gonna get it. Flesh and blood didn't reveal that to you. As Jesus says in the Bible, God. Because it is therapy for me. I love to cook. I can't eat that much, but I love to cook. I've been cooking since I made cornbread from scratch when I was 9 years old. So I've been cooking, helping my mother, catering, and I keep saying I'm gonna do it. Maybe I'll do it soon. I got my easy bake oven from when I was a little girl. I keep saying I'm gonna put it out there so you guys can see it. Maybe I'll do it real soon. But you're right. You said, is it entertainment? Is it therapy? Well, it's entertainment because I love doing it, and I'm always dropping hints because, guys, what I do with my cooking show is I transform food from the healthy version. I mean, talk about a Freudian slip. I transform it from the good version that's not so good for us to a healthier version because I can only eat small amounts of food, and I'm very mindful of what I eat. And so I know people have, high blood pressure, diabetes, but you still want some good food. Yes, and so that's what I do. I transform the food. So I'm dropping nuggets with that. So that's entertainment and it's educational. But when you say, is it therapy? Well, it's something that I love to do. It allows me to be very creative. So it's just for me, really. And you guys get to experience it because I spend time writing up my recipes and trying this and trying that. Sometimes I try them beforehand. Sometimes I just do it live. And it's the first time I've done it. So it is therapy for me because it's something that's very personal for me. And the reason I said this little short story just so that you know why I said it's therapy. I was making spaghetti from scratch some years back, and I was feeling some kind of way. I don't know what was bothering me. I'd come home from work and I was making spaghetti from scratch. I dropped a whole pot of spaghetti sauce. And it taught me when you are not together, you don't cook. But you said, but that's therapy for you. Well, I don't cook when I'm not together. Not live. Because it requires every component of me. So therapy means many different things to different people. So, because some people are like, well, how's that therapy? Because I get to be creative. I get to share it with you guys. I get to share knowledge. I'm also sharing that knowledge with me because people say little things while I'm live, and that makes me think. It's like, oh, I hadn't thought about that. I may be talking about health issues. I may be talking about mental health issues. You never know what I'm going to be talking about. So it is therapy, but it's therapy for me first. And it's fun. You get to see my wacky personality sometimes. But yes, Stacey, flesh and blood didn't reveal that.
Dr. Taz, this has been great. Yes, I'm restraining myself from asking more questions, but anyways.
We'll have to do it again.
Yes, let me tell you, when you're ready to come back. Let's do a part 2 because there's still so much more. Like I know that you can tell us. I'd like for you to end the show by telling us how to connect with you, how to follow you, And why would we call you for your brand strategy services or consultations?
Now I got to make a little note of this. Um, you can follow me at Ask Dr. TAS, AskDrtas.com. Or you can, that's my website, so you can message me through my website. Also, you can follow me on Instagram, which is Dr. Teresa Smith, DrTeresasmith. And on Instagram, you'll see my bio. So you can click on my link tree bio, and it will show you all the other places that you can connect with me. The question was, why should you consider me to assist you as a consultant, as a brand strategist and life coach? One, I'm gonna be honest. I don't like taking people's money, and that's not who I am. I was. She's very human about that. If I'm taking your money, I'm gonna deliver. That's
Okay.
what I mean by that. I'm not gonna take your money and give you what you want to hear, because anybody can do that. You're coming to me because you want me to give you an honest appraisal of where you are, what I see that you can do, and how you can leverage everything, every component of your life to help you to meet your goals. That's what I do. I've been doing this since I was a little girl. But I'm honest. Just like you see me crying all the time, I'm honest because I know that life is short and we don't have time to be playing at helping people. If you really want help, then reach out to me. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna tell you exactly what I see. If I don't think something's a good fit for you, I'm gonna tell you that and I'm gonna tell you why. But most likely, I'm gonna give you an alternative for you to consider. Also, understand this: just because something isn't a good fit right now, it doesn't mean it's not gonna be a good fit 15 years from now. Sometimes we have to crawl before we can get up and run. So we have to understand that. I have to understand it, and you have to understand that also. Um, I have 6 books. I have to look at them. I think 3 of them, well, 2 of them are best, maybe 3 of them are bestsellers, and one of them is award winning. Um, I do this. I actually do the work. Nobody is doing it for me. I actually do it. So when you talk about credibility, I'm not somebody, I'm not AI where somebody's generated something or somebody who's got their gimmick or how they do stuff, which is fine. Everybody do things the way they do them. I'm not one of those people. I'm an honest person who works with people who wants the best for them. I'm not gonna try to cheat you out of anything, but my services cost because I take on individuals as if they are a component of me. And that's the other thing that makes me different. Whenever I work with someone, I work with them as if it's my stuff. And as I used to say to my girl Friday, and she hears this, she's gonna know who this is. I don't ask anything of anyone else that I don't ask of myself. But understand, I ask a lot, Teresa.
Ooh.
I ask a
Say that
lot.
one more. Say that one more time.
I don't ask anything else of anyone else that I don't ask of myself. So what am I saying? I ask a lot of Teresa. So when I ask something of someone else, it's not like, oh, she always want me to do this, but she's not doing it. I'm doing more. I'm doing more. So when I ask for something, I expect it because I ask so much of myself. And what that means is I understand the amount of work and time it takes to get something done. So if you're wanting to move from A to Z, I'm your person. If you want to stay at A for the next 5 years, I'm not your person. Because that's what I said. I don't want to take your money. I'm not going to take your money repeatedly and you're not putting in any work. I'm not going to do that. God's going to have to deal with me if I do that, and I don't want him dealing with me. My conscience, my ethics won't allow that. You got to want something with me because, again, you're not going to be stronger if you just sit on the sidelines. And my whole platform, my whole life is about people being stronger. And the one thing that I have learned, um, Stacey, you know, that old adage, you can take a horse to the water, but you can't make him drink.
That's right. That's
And you
right.
cannot. So if you're not ready to drink any of that fresh spring water, I'm not your person. But if you thirsty and you've been looking for somebody to help push you into your purpose and you're ready to do that, then I'm your person.
It's been great.
It has been, Stacey. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank
Thank
you. And know that you are welcome. We're going to have to set a date for you to come back.
I'm looking
Okay.
forward to it.
Take care, beautiful. And I'm wishing you the very best.
Thank you, and the same to you.
Thank you. All right. Look at Stacey. She's brought another blessing to you. Third person, right? Listen, what's your excuse? What's your excuse? You've gone through things. And according to Dr. Teresa A. Smith, we can keep it moving. You need help with keeping it moving? Her website is on here. Get one of her books. They're on Amazon. Her commercial will be played again. Follow Dr. TAS. You know I'm not going to bring anybody on this show that's not going to give you true things, like great things that can bless you. And remember, thank you for watching the show. Don't stress too much about yesterday. Don't worry too much about tomorrow, because if you do, you just might miss living today. I am Stacey Thomas.
Baptized by the trials and tribulations of life, Dr. Teresa A. Smith, Dr. TAS, is a crusader for messy people. That is, people who recognize their mess and are working diligently to not be stifled by their circumstances. Despite being sexually abused and bullied by both adults and peers, Dr. TAS did not adopt a victim mentality. Get the book, Stronger: How Overcoming Life's Adversities Can Push You Into Your Purpose by Dr. Teresa A. Smith. Available on Amazon in paperback and Kindle.